You and I had a conversation probably 2 years ago, talked about Bitcoin going to $500,000. You still in the same place?
Yes, we are. In fact, we're a little higher than that in our base case for the year 2030. And in our bull case, much higher. If you look at what has happened in the last year, actually, Sam Bankman-Fried didn't like Bitcoin at all. And he didn't like it because of its decentralization and transparency. And what companies went under, they were the highly centralized, non-transparent, opaque companies. So FTX, Celsius, 3AC, Three Arrows Capital.
Cathie Wood, the founder and CEO of ARK Invest, has increased her bet on her well-known Bitcoin price prediction of $1 million. The leading cryptocurrency asset is expected to reach $1 million in about 7 years, according to hedge fund manager and executive She. Wood originally made this prediction in early 2022 when she increased her price projection for the most valuable cryptocurrency asset from $5,000 by 2026 to $1 million by 2030. The hedge fund manager claims that the depth of study carried out by the ARK Invest team served as the foundation for her projections. In her interview, Wood also talks about her predictions for the U.S. economy's inflation and the market's overall performance over the previous year, as a result of the unfavorable economic climate. We'll now take you to Cathie Wood's most recent CNBC interview. Please watch the entire video, click the like button, and subscribe to the channel for more similar content. Also, don't forget to leave your thoughts and observations regarding Wood's interview in the space provided below.
If you look at what happened to Bitcoin, the network, and Ethereum, the network, they really didn't skip a beat. All transactions were completed. All smart contracts opened and closed. So I think that starting with 0809, which is when Bitcoin really debuted, and even more so after the crypto fallout this past year, the collapse in many companies, this idea of transparency and decentralization is taking hold. And Bitcoin and Ethereum are the two best manifestations of that in the crypto world. I think what we've been through is a very big inflation and interest rate scare that hit long duration assets incredibly hard, including long-term bonds. Last year, the worst performance in the bond market since the 1700s. That's how bad this was. And of course, that was going to really hurt our strategies. But we do believe, and we have been saying for some time, that the inflation is unwinding. We think the market is leading the Fed, the bond market. I think we're down to 3.5% today on the 10-year Treasury bond yield. The bond market is basically saying the Fed is close to the end of this tightening move, and is also saying that inflation will surprise on the low side of expectations, which means when we look back, that the past 2 years inflation issue and interest rate issue has been a function of massive supply shocks to the system. And I noticed that even Janet Yellen this week said that she believes that inflation is probably going to surprise on the low side and stay there and might even become a problem. Larry Summers, same thing. He's saying, wait a minute, the economy is much weaker than I thought. So I think we're close to the end.
So you think Jay Powell is going to, and in terms of the language Jay Powell might use later today, you think it's going to be a little softer rather than sort of a hawkish tone?
You know, I have no idea. I don't know. I've been surprised at how unanimously this Fed board has voted, given how weak its own Federal Reserve Bank districts are, according to their own report. So I don't know. I do know that the market is leading the Fed. And I also know that innovation solves problems. And we have a lot of problems now, including the Fed being so tight and activity becoming so weak in so many areas. So, you know, we put out big ideas last night. These are our big ideas 2023, very excited. And the first one you see there is artificial intelligence, which of course ChatGPT has finally caught the public's imagination. We've been working on artificial intelligence for a long time now, and I think some of the things we're seeing are just the beginning of the impact that artificial intelligence is going to have on every sector, every industry, every company.
Who do you think, though, is the biggest beneficiary or winner of that? Obviously Tesla has been a big investment for you, and AI is a huge part of what they're trying to do. Again, we've had a big debate on this program, and I think in the markets for a long time about whether they're a car company or whether they're a tech company. I know you're in the tech camp, but what do you say to those who say, at least from the unit economics today, that it's a car company?
Well, I would say that it's just even its own gross margin structure would tell you there's something else going on here. Its gross margins are going up. And it's a technology company from the point of view of battery technology. It is at the leading edge there. Artificial intelligence, as you said, Andrew. And I think one of the most important things, you ask who the winners are going to be, they're going to be those companies with proprietary data and large pools of high quality proprietary data. And you'll see many of our stocks are in that category.
Let's talk about some other big ideas. Where are you in the world of crypto? We've been talking about crypto for a long time. I remember you and I had a conversation probably 2 years ago, talked about Bitcoin going to $500,000. You still in the same place? Yes,
we are. In fact, we're a little higher than that in our base case for the year 2030. And in our bull case, much higher. If you look at what has happened in the last year, actually, Sam Bankman-Fried didn't like Bitcoin at all. And he didn't like it because of its decentralization and transparency.
Tuesday saw the release of ARK Invest's 2023 Big Ideas research, which covered the technological convergence they predict will increase the market value of disruptive innovation from $13 trillion now to $200 trillion by 2030. The 5 innovation platforms are convergent, says the study in ARK's research, to produce unheard-of growth trajectories. Public blockchains, AI, microbial sequencing, energy storage, and robotics are the 5 technologies. The most significant catalyst, in ARK's opinion, is artificial intelligence, which is rapidly displacing all other technologies. The report says of Bitcoin, "We believe Bitcoin's long-term opportunity is strengthening despite a turbulent year. Bitcoin has not skipped a beat. Its network fundamentals have straightened and its holder base has become more long-term focused. Contagion caused by centralized counterparties has elevated Bitcoin's value propositions, which are decentralization, auditability, and transparency. The price of one Bitcoin could exceed $1 million in the next decade." The analysis also points out that despite significant downturns, Bitcoin has outperformed every other major asset class over a longer period of time. According to ARK, Bitcoin has increased by an average of 272% over the past 5 years. While global stocks have increased by 6.1%, global debt has yielded 1.4%, and gold has increased by 2.2%. The paper also emphasizes that fundamentals for Bitcoin are stronger now than they were during previous drawdowns. These fundamentals consist of addresses with non-zero balances, a long-term holder supply, and a greater hash rate. In another portion of the research, it is stated, as the value of tokenized financial assets grows on-chain decentralized applications, and it maps out a growth trajectory for other digital assets. And the networks of smart contracts that underlie them could produce $450 billion in revenue annually, and reach a market value of $5.3 trillion by 2030. What do you think about ARK Invest's and Cathie Wood's predictions for Bitcoin and other digital assets? Please post your thoughts and insights in the space provided below. Please turn on post alerts and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this video in order to ensure that you never miss one of our regular uploads.